Rao sir, distinguished guests of today's program, Pro Vice Chancellors of IGNOU, senior officials who are connected to us virtually, viewers on Facebook Live and YouTube Live, I welcome you all to the launch function of Postgraduate Diploma in Migration and Diaspora. I now request Professor Shachi Shah, Director at FYTS, to present the welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Diksha. Namaskar, good morning, good afternoon. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Nageshwar Rao sir, Chief Guest of today's function, Dr. Marina Manke, Head, Labor, Mobility and Human Development Division in the Department of Migration Management, IOM, headquarter in Geneva. Guest of honor, Ms. Riva Gangli Das, former Secretary East, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India. Dr. Swaroop Ranjan Mishra, Member of Parliament, Kenya National Assembly. Ms. Subhanshri Launchme Roy, Member of the National Assembly, Mauritius. Shri Asuk Ramsaran, President, Indian Diaspora Council, International IDC, New York. It is indeed a great honor and pleasure for me to welcome you all in this launching event of Postgraduate Diploma in Migration and Diaspora. I would like to express my sincere thanks and gratitude and extend a very cordial welcome to our Honorable Vice Chancellor of IGNOU, Professor Nageshwar Rao sir, who has always very instrumental guiding force and pillar of strength for all the events, all the activity of IGNOU, and Dr. Marina Manke, Chief Guest of today's launching ceremony, who very graciously agreed to inaugurate the program. Our esteemed guest of honors, Ms. Riva Gangli Das, former Secretary East, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India. Dr. Swaroop Ranjan Mishra, Member of Parliament, Kenya National Assembly, and Ms. Subhanshri Launchman Roy, who will be joining us shortly today from different zones for this function. It is a momentous day for all of us. We are delighted in the presence of galaxy of eminent and distinguished experts contributing extensively in the field of migration and diaspora studies, who have very kindly agreed to share their breadth of knowledge and experience with us. Through this program, we are very hopeful that we could foster new partnership and build new synergies for action through this program. I also take this opportunity to welcome our Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor R.V. Das sir, Professor Satyakam sir, Professor Uma Kanji Lal ma'am, and Professor Sumitra Kukreti ma'am, who is always there to support us and to guide us. Indira Gandhi National Open University is spread across the length and breadth of the country, and it is one of the most prestigious universities internationally and nationally. It serves more than 3 million learners through its 21 School of Studies, 67 regional center, 2,000 learner center, and around more than 20 overseas institutions. Under the visionary guidance, leadership and guidance, Professor Nageshwar Rao sir, we are contributing, IGNOU is contributing significantly in the field of higher education through online and distance education programs, and has secured the top position among the non-technical institute of national importance in January 2022. IGNOU is among the very few universities who are offering, who are having a separate school of interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary studies. We are offering 15 programs, including 5 master's programs, 1 graduate program, 5 diploma programs, and also various massive online open course. The school offers the program in various interdisciplinary areas for like environmental science, sustainability science, philosophy, and now with the launch of this PG Diploma in Migration and Diaspora is another program which we have launched from January 2022. Migration, we know, is a central feature of modern world. In both colonial and post-colonial era, people have moved voluntarily and had been moving across the national border even such border have been constructed and shifted. The interdisciplinary and comparative field of diaspora studies analyzes experiences of transnational movement and settlement in terms of how these are historically and politically informed. I am very sure in this context, the 32 credit PG Diploma in Migration and Diaspora program will definitely provide a skill understanding of migration process, role of diaspora, especially Indian diaspora, various policies, regulation, etc. with these various well-designed course and unit which has been designed by eminent expert from all over the India in this field. With these words, I once again welcome you all for this launching event of PG Diploma in Migration and Diaspora, and thank you for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. The program is definitely an additional feather to the cap of programs offered by our school. And the launching of this program is an achievement that we are really proud of. I now request Dr. Sadanand Sahu, the program coordinator of the program, to tell us more about this program.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and all the distinguished guests of this event. I don't want to take more time, but this program actually is very important for the countries like India, especially which has now the largest number of diaspora population. If we put together, it is close to 25 million population across more than 100 countries. And this program can help many stakeholders. I was just discussing with my friend who is doing research on diaspora and migration. There are more than 3,000 diaspora organizations, and large number of them, around 1,100, are in North America and many other parts of the globe. And if we see the alumni association back home in India, there is lots of potential for developmental engagement with diaspora and migrant population. And today we see India receives the highest number of remittances, and we have already witnessed in 90s and afterwards how the diaspora engaged with IT and medical field and many other professional fields, and India became very well known globally in this area. And with Indian diaspora population, we need many areas to engage, and this program is especially designed for many stakeholders, not just corporate, government, and society, other actors like NGOs, because today if we see any policy, we need whole of society approach and whole of government approach. And this large number of stakeholders are working across ministries, across society, across communities, across departments. There is need for knowledge and skills, especially to know the history of people who are migrating, know their political affiliation, know their economics, know their skills, and there are many things to know. And this course is designed very well designed by various experts across India, as Professor Satisha mentioned, and this course catering to the needs of several sectors, not just development sector, but there are crisis area also, which government is handling, and many things we need to know about diaspora, and many areas which actually facilitate trade and commerce also, because diaspora is one of the largest consumer of many ethnic products, like you call pickle, Bollywood, or anything you take. And this is the most underestimated area. Even their export is larger than many other areas, manufacturing and even software. So there is a need to engage with diaspora. Though this course is one component is very theoretical and global, there are also other diasporas briefly mentioned in this area. There are sections in this program which talks about diaspora and development, like for example, investment. And we have specifically given cases how the diaspora investments are successful in different countries, different fields, like software engineering. Like we have in India, we got in 90s onwards, the Silicon Valley and Bangalore, Hyderabad, these are the hub of diasporic engagement, how it became very successful. Even in China, if we talk about their engagement with their diaspora. Almost 60-70% of investment comes from them. And the remittance used in Philippines, Bangladesh, and India. These are the best practices we can learn from this. And to learn this, we need a fully holistic design of a program which catering to various sections of stakeholders, maybe government, NGOs, general public, because this course facilitates the interaction. Even today, if you see, there is a knowledge gap between diaspora population and Indian population. They don't know where who is staying, what are the skill profile of various segment of people. Once this is known and once the diaspora and homeland, intimate relation develop in various sectors, this may be very, very important. This program has 8 courses, each having 4 credits, and has a practical, project component which has 8 credits, all covering different components, and this is very useful for, as I mentioned, various stakeholders, and it has a futuristic aspect also, because we know that diaspora across globe is increasing. People are migrating more in number, even despite COVID-19 or whatever. We find more intensified movement of people, and this course will definitely cater to the needs of large stakeholders, which have support from our Honorable Vice Chancellor. Will also be extending more optional courses. Maybe we'll be proposing more programs, MA programs, and like that in future, and make it more comprehensive. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. We are sure that the program will be very popular among the learners, and we hope to form an engaged community of academic students and practitioners to explore the relevant issues. We are thrilled today by the eminent presence of Dr. Marina Manke from International Organization for Migration, Geneva. Madam is on the advisory boards and committees, including the Global Skills Partnership for Migration with ILO, ITUC, UNESCO, as well as UN collaboration within the UN Network on Migration. She holds a PhD in International Relations from the University of Cambridge. And we are very delighted to have you with us today. I now request Professor Nageshwar Rao, Vice Chancellor IGNOU, and Chief Guest Dr. Marina Manke to officially launch the program of Migration and Diaspora. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. We are eager to listen to you, ma'am. So may I now request you to deliver your address.
Thank you so much, colleagues, partners from the far India. It's such a pleasure for me to join you today virtually. I wish I could actually be there with you and really have a more in-depth discussion about all the plans that you have for this exciting program. To be honest, my journey in migration has started already 18 years ago. In 2004, when I started working in our organization, International Organization for Migration, having graduated from 3 universities, one in Russia, one in Hungary, and one in UK. So I ended up working in migration after receiving PhD degree. But then, and I didn't really understand what kind of area I was entering, because back then, not really much was known about migration and not many universities were offering these courses. So your approach of really offering a postgraduate course on migration and diaspora is such an advancement. I think globally, there are few universities which are offering such a comprehensive approach. And when you were presenting right now the program and all the topics that you're planning to focus on, so I was really, my heart was really filling up with warmth. Because indeed, this very complex interdisciplinary area requires a lot of collaboration, a lot of work across disciplines, as you're saying, as well as across parts of societies and parts of the government. The whole of government, whole of society approach is the one which will bring us forward, because very often migration is really placed into the some sectors of public policy which are related to security agendas. But as you were correctly pointing out today, it is a really a very important enabler of development. It is in the Sustainable Development Goals, but also it is really recognized right now as a transnational area, as an area of policy work which requires solutions not necessarily just within a specific country, but really across borders. I'm really happy to really inaugurate that program today, and really wish all the best for the program, for the students, for the teachers whom you're going to put together to really share knowledge with the students and really come up with innovations and identifying some of the good practices, some of the innovative approaches. I'm very happy to see that this program is really linking the notion of migration, human mobility, but also diaspora communities, because indeed, that's how migration demonstrates positive benefits for all societies. It's people who move in the end for various reasons, but it is people who then start residing maybe in different communities, but still feeling attached to the country where they're coming from. So as my concrete example, as I mentioned, so I come from Russia and I have lived abroad in many parts of the world, but I do still have this attachment. I still have family, I still have friends, and I want to see the best for the country where I'm coming from. So this transnationalism becomes extremely relevant for us working in migration area, because indeed, how do we maximize the positive connectivity of human mobility, which is created? And there are various approaches there, and a lot of experiences have been gathered. I think what is interesting that also to place the launch of your program in the broader international context. As you know, this year, 2022, is the year when the Secretary General and the UN partners, and I am as a coordinator of the UN Network on Migration, we are convening International Migration Forum Review in May, where we are going to track record and track progress on the implementation of the Global Compact for Migration, which has been adopted in 2018. And migration as a positive enabler of development is very strongly present in that document. And specifically Objective 19 on the migrants' contributions for development, this is the objective which we care a lot. And I think this is the one which is uniting us together as well as partners around the broader work on diaspora communities and supporting them in terms of really becoming more active engagers in development. So maybe a few words about diaspora work, and I see my colleague Larissa also joining this event today, so and she's leading there. So indeed, diaspora engagement has been in the policy agenda for some time. We have worked with governments across the world, helping them to develop policies. But moving forward, what really remains a very challenging area of work is to transform the policies and ideas of bringing the working with diaspora towards tangible impact, or in specific communities, in specific sectors, as you were saying, in specific, for instance, areas of diaspora engagement. And for instance, diasporas as investors, diasporas as philanthropists, diasporas as those who understand maybe something about specific professional areas like IT specialists, like agriculture specialists. These are the capital, these are the knowledge which we really can potentially engage in. And we have been working again with partners very successfully in really identifying those approaches. Indeed, as we move to the Global Forum review in May, I want to also mention, and maybe your program could also help, is to really identify those good practices and concrete examples and experiences. If you look at the United Nations Network on Migration website, we have developed a repository of good practices, and we are inviting everyone, including from yourself, the partners, the academia, to really share some good examples and tangible and very impactful cases where we have managed to really demonstrate the efficiency and effectiveness of working with migrants and their communities, as well as good policies. So I think we are in the world which is changing, the changing world of course, post-COVID or COVID reality. We need to digest that. There is a whole, this is coming together with the changing world of work, which we need to understand, the changing world of education, which allows for virtual and digital forms of accessing knowledge. So I hope that your program will be also contributing to this way of allowing many more students of different ages, different backgrounds to access that knowledge and become migration professionals for whom we see a bright future, because there's such a huge demand from the international community for specialists on migration. So I think we really want to ensure that everyone has a possibility to become a knowledgeable specialist in that area moving forward. For that, we also contributed a little bit. We also are running some global training program, education program on migration and diaspora together with our partners, in particular the Global Research Forum on Diaspora and Transnationalism. So I see a lot of possibilities for collaboration. So I really want to wish everyone, the professors, students, and partners, all the best, and enjoy joy from the study, joy from accessing the knowledge. Thank you, and over to you.
Creating words. Our next guest is an accomplished and experienced diplomat. Ms. Riva Ganguly Das, Madam, is former Secretary, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India. She is the former High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh and also former Director General of the Indian Council for Cultural Relations. Her distinguished career and contribution to foreign services are widely recognized. I request you, ma'am, to present your remarks on the program.
Thank you. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Professor Nageshwar Rao, Vice Chancellor IGNOU, Dr. Marina Manke, other distinguished speakers, faculty of IGNOU, good afternoon from Kolkata. I'm absolutely delighted and honored to be present at the launch of Diaspora in Migration, the PG course in Diploma in Migration and Diaspora Studies at the Indira Gandhi National Open University. I think it is a very timely step taken by IGNOU, and I would like to congratulate the School of Interdisciplinary and Transdisciplinary Studies for taking this initiative. It is also very fitting that you have housed this very complex and multidisciplinary subject in the interdisciplinary, in the faculty of School of Interdisciplinary and Transdisciplinary Studies, because this is a subject I feel which requires study from all kinds of perspective, political, economic, sociological, anthropological. Migration, as we know, has, I feel, taken place ever since man started living in society. And I think even before national boundaries were drawn, moving for better opportunities, moving away from turmoil of various kinds and from disasters has been going on since millennia. It is also true that migration and intermingling of cultures have enriched us as human beings and as civilizations. With 30 million people of Indian origin or descent, whatever, in whichever way you may like to describe it, all over the world, we could say that India has one of the largest and most successful diaspora in the world. Indian migrants, as we know, have been very successful in their countries of adoption. And, nowadays the names of Sundar Pichai, Satya Nadella, Indira Nui, of course, are well known. But there are many who are extremely successful in their own areas, be it as educationists, as political leaders in today's world, and or as cultural personalities. I mean, there are endless people of Indian origin who have been extremely successful in the countries of their adoption. We know that Indian diaspora is counted amongst the most successful and educated ethnic group in many of the countries where they have settled down. However, I must add that the diaspora is not a monolith. There are different strands to it. And in fact, Indian diaspora in Europe and North America differs very distinctly from our diaspora in the Gulf, Middle East, or perhaps even to some extent in the Caribbean. People from Indian subcontinent are believed to have been migrating to other lands during much of the last millennia. Maybe Romas may be perhaps one of the first major emigrant groups, though I must add that very little research has been done on Roma community till now. And it's very difficult to get information on them. I was India's ambassador in Romania, and I really struggled to get information on the Romas when I was there. Large-scale migration from India began perhaps after the abolition of slavery in the British Empire in 1833. And thereafter, there was a lot of demand for cheap labor, which perhaps acted as a bit of a push factor for migrants from India. And they moved in large numbers. Studies again show that possibly the largest group settled down in Myanmar, what is Myanmar today and was Burma earlier. A very large group went to Sri Lanka. There were a lot of Indians who migrated to Malaya during that period, and to the Caribbean and Fiji. Indian migration to the Caribbean was mostly as indentured labor for the sugar plantations of Guyana, Suriname, Jamaica, and other islands. And descendants of these people later moved on to the US. In the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I've had the distinct honor of dealing with the Caribbean countries in 2 stints as Director General when I was used to handle them directly, and later on as Secretary, I again handled the Caribbean countries, and I'm absolutely fascinated at the very strong links that the diaspora maintains even in its 3rd, 4th, 5th generation, and the deep attachment that the diaspora has with its the culture, the heritage, the religion, which they have taken with them to the countries of their adoption. Since I have spent many years in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and diaspora relations is something which I'm in a sense a practitioner of this, and I know that India was amongst one of the first countries to have a very proactive diaspora policy. You would recall that it was during Vajpayeeji's government that we appointed the first Indian ambassador at large for diaspora affairs. Later on, we had a separate Ministry of Overseas Indian Affairs, which has now been merged in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And in the Ministry of External Affairs, we have a full secretary who handles the Overseas Indian Affairs. One of the early initiatives that we took, and which has been of great help to the diaspora, has been the setting up of what we call the Indian Community Welfare Fund, ICWF. And we saw during the COVID that, this fund, which was available with our Indian missions and Indian posts abroad, was tremendously helpful in supporting and giving assistance to Indians who were stranded in very large numbers abroad. And it has really been a very forward-looking policy that we have. We have also, as you know, the overseas OCI card at the recommendation of a high-level committee on Indian diaspora. Government of India launched the Overseas Citizenship of India scheme in 2005 for persons of Indian origin. Later on, the persons of PIO card scheme, which was launched earlier in 1999, was merged with OCI in 2015. And this has been a very successful scheme. And, this has been, the OCI facility has in fact been extended up to the 6th generation of Indian diaspora in St. Denis, Reunion Island, and earlier in 2017 and 19, similar facilities were extended to diaspora from Mauritius and Suriname. It is not a very, it's not a policy which is very fixed. It is evolving over a period of time. You also may be aware of the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas that India celebrates on 9th January every year. This was the day Gandhiji came back from South Africa to lead the national movement. And that is why 9th January has been selected, because we consider Mahatma Gandhi as one of our most successful Pravasi who came back and led the freedom struggle. The Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, which is celebrated, and unfortunately because of COVID, it has not been celebrated in a physical form, is hugely successful. And I know the last one, which coincided with the Kumbh Mela, the Mahakumbh, I myself attended it, and I saw the hundreds and thousands of people who came to attend the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. The Pravasi Samman, which is given to distinguished Indians for Indian diaspora for their success in various fields, is also is a great recognition, and I think it has helped India as a country build a stronger relationship with its diaspora. The government also engages young diaspora in various ways through various quiz programs, etc. And now new initiatives have been taken to leverage the scientific knowledge which is out there amongst the Indian diaspora. We all know that Indians do very well in science, technology, and they've done very well in terms of innovation. We heard about investment, etc. Government has taken a lot of initiatives like the for engaging the scientific community. There is a Vajra scheme, the Prabhas, and the and a few other schemes where the science and technology which is being developed outside India by the diaspora is being leveraged. Several non-profit organizations also work in this area, and I think this the PG Diploma course, when it starts, could look at the contribution which the non-profit and the NGOs have done. Like, I would like to mention about ARSP, Antarrashtriya Sahyog Parishad, which has since 1975 been proactively working on diaspora issues. In fact, Government of India has also set up the India Center for Migration, and I understand that IOM and India Center for Migration are working together on a project for strengthening data on migration and diaspora. And so this is again, I think we've heard other speakers say that information on diaspora movement, on the migration movements, is something which is waiting to happen. So, in conclusion, I would like to once again congratulate IGNOU for having the foresight of taking this initiative or of this program. I'm sure this will be very successful among students, and it will fill in the gap that really exists in our better understanding of how migration takes place and the tremendous role that Indian diaspora plays. And I think the comparison with other diasporas will also be done. Thank you all for inviting me. It's been a wonderful interacting with all of you, and a good opportunity to see some of my old friends like Mr. Shukram Saran. We did have a little conversation before the meeting started. Thank you very much, and I wish the PG Diploma all the best, all success. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for all the good wishes and also for highlighting the role of diaspora, particularly Indian diaspora. Our next speaker, Ashok Ram Saranji, is recognized for many significant and notable achievements as an active and versatile leader. Sir is presently President, Indian Diaspora Council International, New York. He is conferred with UP Ratna Award in 2016 and the prestigious Pravasi Samman Award by President of India in 2011. May I now request you, sir, to please present your ideas on the program.
Good evening, namaste. Greetings to esteemed officials, participants, and organizers of this forum. I'm pleased to be invited to share my remarks and commentary at this launching event of the Postgraduate Diploma PG Diploma at the Indira Gandhi National University IGNOU School of Interdisciplinary and Transdisciplinary Studies. I'm honored to be among such qualified participants from India, Switzerland, Mauritius, and Kenya, which reflect on the high caliber, significance, and potential benefits of this program, as well as the global diaspora. I commend IGNOU for launching this PGDMIDI studies and for developing such a comprehensive curriculum. I've gone through the curriculum and it's quite extensive and comprehensive. I also commend Dr. Sahu, Professor Kapoor, and staff for their initiative, and I support their efforts to provide more in-depth education on a topic that is of interest to many in India, as well as the expanding Indian diaspora living outside of India. The interest is not only in academia, as envisioned in the concept. The lessons and analytics contained in the curriculum can be quite useful in policy-making decisions in both government and private sectors. As noted, the program would develop in providing informed understanding of migration processes, role of diasporas in development, information for policies, planning, and researches, etc. As we all know, migration enlarges the number and extent of the Indian diaspora, and it's been doing so from colonial times to present-day migration to most countries of the globe, the latter of which has seen a rapid growth recently, until curtailed by COVID-19 and its effects worldwide. Based on pre-pandemic trends, migration will continue to be a major contributor to the expanding Indian diaspora. As such, PGDMIDI studies become more valuable and essential as a means of understanding the trends, developing analytics and policies crucial to understanding, as well as providing useful information and recommendations for policy-making decisions. It is also important to document these trends for present and future academicians and researchers. It's important for historical records. Besides in-person studies, technology provides the appropriate, accessible, and widely used platform for studies on a global scale to be more inclusive, enlarge the study participants, and foment more in-depth and global dialogue and discussions, all for the betterment of the curriculum. While migration of Indian labor started in earnest with large numbers from Tamil Nadu region to Malaysia, large numbers were taken by the French from South India starting in 1827 to Reunion Island and later to other French colonies in the French Caribbean. Simultaneously, the British started, as Dr. Das pointed out, an Indian migration under indentureship in 1834 to Mauritius, the English/Dutch-speaking Caribbean, and South Africa, officially ending the process in 1917 after an Act of Parliament in the UK. There were exchanges and trading of laborers among colonial powers, so that descendants are presently in countries that speak English, French, Dutch, and Spanish. Many of the descendants of indentureship have also migrated to Europe, UK, France, and Netherlands, USA, and Canada. They number about 10 to 12 million worldwide. During colonial times, many Indians went to UK on a voluntary basis to work and study. Today, their numbers are approximately 1.5 million, with prominent positions in government, House of Lords, Parliament, business, academia, religious, philanthropy, and civic organizations. In addition, the British employed thousands of Indians in railroad construction in East Africa, Kenya, Uganda, etc. And many of their descendants migrated to the UK, Canada, and USA as well. The Gulf countries have, until COVID-19, employed millions of in laborers who worked in all sectors as service and labor force. At one time, that number was about 5 million people. The population of Indians living outside of India is estimated to be between 28 and 32 million pre-COVID. And that's a combination of NRIs, which is non-resident Indians, and PIOs, people of Indian origin. It's also attractive for major multinational corporations to employ Indians in Europe and North America, as well as India working remotely from inside India. It is estimated that post-COVID-19 went back to normal, that migration would resume at its earlier rate, especially with a tremendous shortage of skilled and unskilled labor in the developed countries due to COVID-19 impact. Well, one would like to think that this huge population should be monolithic or homogeneous. It is very diverse with different histories, languages, customs, and levels of assimilation, although from the same roots. That is understandable as several generations were born outside of India in multi-ethnic societies. Hence, the difference between NRIs and PIOs. So it behooves continuing research, studies, and analytics. I'm confident that this curriculum would address this in a comprehensive way. This program is good for the Indian diaspora, for better understanding, for strengthening the bonds with India, and encouraging prudent and effective policies and schemes, as was done by the former Ministry of Overseas and Indian Affairs, and to further engage and enhance the Indian diaspora. Thank you and best wishes for much success in this curriculum.
Thank you, sir, for your enlightening and informative address. Now we have Ms. Shubhanshi Lakshman Roy, who is from member of the National Assembly, Mauritius. Ma'am is a media and communication professional who is skilled in advertising, broadcasting, communication, and event management. May I now request you, ma'am, to share your thoughts on the program.
Ask her to unmute.
Madam, unmute.
Sorry. Hello, good afternoon, namaskar to everybody. Thank you so much, Dr. Sadanandu Sahu and the IGNOU for inviting me to this auspicious launch of this important course on migration and diaspora. I'm deeply honored for this, and I would sincerely like to apologize also for my lateness because, we are currently working on the Mauritian Parliament, and we have so many things to do, and rightly so. We've been talking about the Lok Sabha of India with regard to the Parliament live broadcast. So I'm very happy actually to see that the course structure of the program. I've been through it, and I'm extremely happy about this. And I must say that I strongly feel that anyone interested in the future of India and the future of the world should actually enroll for this program. And I say so because I think India is an important country, not because that we have people from Indian origin who are in Mauritius. It is an important country which has been helping Mauritius, and also it has also been able to really bring together all the Indian diaspora together, who are actually playing important roles in different manners, in different ways, also across the global politics, in policy making, the economic development, or any other technological support or business expansion as well. Well, an Indian is actually a very important member of the global diaspora, as they represent the multicultural and multi-faith and multilingual traditions of India. The global village is increasingly realizing the inclusive values that Indians bring to the table at international level. And I also, been going through some documentation as well. And I remember that Swami Vivekananda's presentation of Indian culture and religion at Chicago, which best encapsulated the inclusive Indian values and accepted an acceptance of different paths as real and true. That is why I identify myself with India. That is what the world is actually looking at India. It is for the leadership in thought, ideas, products, and services as well. Studying the journeys and lived and experiences of persons of different Indian origins, PIOs, like we say, or non-resident Indians, along with the mobile working and studying population that goes to Europe, America, across Asia, or across the world, is a very noble initiative. Recently, there has been a lot of discussion on the issues of migration here in Mauritius as well, where migration happens for different kind of reasons, and there can be regional or global migration as well. So they can happen due to violence that we've been seeing around the world right now, and due to climatic change as well. We have some war situation as well, or some people would just migrate to have some better opportunities. So we think that Europe is the most concerned in this, but this is global discussion, and Africa is no less concerned. And I think that India should be able to lead this discussion. There are a lot of career opportunities of, you understand that, that humanity needs mobility as well. So I think that the team has correctly identified that opportunities will emerge from UN platforms, embassies, and other international NGOs as well. In addition to this, I see a lot of opportunity for professionals, whether it is in Mauritius or any part of the globe, working in international education, migration for visas, international tourism, and international business as well. So I think migration agents should not just know about the law of the host country, host nations, but they should be able to also have a deep understanding of the history, the culture, the Indian diaspora connection there as well. There are immense possibilities for job seekers and entrepreneurs here. So if students take this program, I think it's definitely something different which will happen, not only for Mauritius or for India as well, but for the globe itself. It will be very, very helpful. So I'm quite helpful that the students of the program can contribute to this global dialogue. And I would love to send my best wishes to you all with the inaugural batch of students. And I'm very, very happy actually to extend whatever support possible from my office to both personal and professional capacities to your team as well. And I wish you all good luck and of course, congratulations again. Thank you, Dhanyavad.
Thank you, ma'am. Definitely the program will have greater presence in the times to come. Indira Gandhi National Open University is blessed to have a visionary and dynamic leadership of Professor Nageshwar Rao, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Migration. Sir, it is only because of your encouragement, guidance, motivation, and vivacious efforts that the university is scaling greater heights. The program has reached this level only because of your continuous support and vision. I humbly request you, sir, to bless us with your words of wisdom and give us a direction to move ahead.
Good morning or good noon, good evening. I'm happy to welcome you all to this launch of postgraduate diploma in migration and diaspora, especially Dr. Marina Manke, Ms. Riva Ganguly Das, Mr. Ashok Ramsaran, and Ms. Subhashini Luchimrai. Their presence has motivated us, it has inspired us, and the faculty, especially Sahuji, he felt happy to seek your blessings on this occasion, because this particular program, postgraduate diploma in migration and diaspora, this is of great relevance in today's scenario. COVID, post-COVID, and even pre-COVID also. Now the COVID has changed the scenario. And Now the word diaspora is sufficient, because earlier we used to talk about the British diaspora, the French diaspora, Germany diaspora, African diaspora. Now we find that people are moving. Migration has become a routine. Increase in transportation facilities, the better access to communication network, even our social networking, even video conferencing, all those things, they have improved these migration levels. Earlier, the migration levels, that is not the number which we all visualizing today. We can move to UK, USA, Australia, African countries with great ease. Maximum time to reach from India to any country is 22 hours. If there is a direct flight. And people are looking into that only. Because if they are staying in our country also, here also the distance is, by train it takes around 3 days. There are places where the people take 3 days. Their family members, if they are staying at a distance of more than 3,000 kilometers. Even by flight also, it takes around 4 to 5 hours. Indian diaspora is spread all over the globe. Look at any country, you will find that our own people are there. And even the people from outside, they are also visiting our country and they are also staying over here. Both the facets of migration, they are existing now. Numbers, it may vary. But if you see even the Malaysia also, Chinese, Indians, Muslims. So everywhere you find that sort of composition is existing. Indonesia, African countries, even in US and UK also. And we can safely say that in almost all the countries, the number is 10 to 20%. And this number is continuously increasing, and people are traveling like it's an internal migration process. Earlier, we used to talk about the internal migration. We used to see that how the cultures, the customs, the traditions of different places, they are to be united. They are to be assimilated by diaspora. So internal diaspora, now they have got the little relevance. Only the people who are going out, because they have to adjust even the language also, the culture also, the festivals also, the traditions also. And the most important thing is the education. Because there, most of the subjects, they are being taught in their own local language. And when they come back to their own country, they would like to have their own language. Here also, lots of experimentations they are going on. Machine tool translation, it has become a big tool to look at the script, look at the contents in our own language. Even in our own country, we do have the newspapers. Now they are available in all the 14 languages, 15 languages. At the same moment, news has come and it is immediately being translated into 14 or 15 languages. It has become possible. Now you see the edX and Coursera, the courses, the course-based registration, they have become popular all over the globe, including India. Those who are completing their studies through the courses offered by edX and Coursera, they find that the similarities are existing in any country of the world, including India. For diasporas, this is one of the important areas where they can see that yes, now the education is also, education through technology also is much more accessible and quality contents are available. The ABC credit transfer mechanism, multidisciplinary focus, talking about different languages, Indian as well as foreign languages. People are looking at those countries, those languages which are widely being used in trade. People would like to go for that. And for that also the facilities are available. So earlier scenario of diaspora, now it has completely changed. And we see that a lot of people, they're using the technology in terms of communication, in terms of education, in terms of transportation, in terms of trade. Look at any sphere. Even the cultural variations, they're also being addressed. Social concerns, they're also being addressed. And if a course is available, then it gives you a preliminary idea of the issues which they will confront. Because understanding of the issues will definitely make an individual wiser. And the purpose of this particular launch of a PG diploma is to make the people wiser, Indian diaspora wiser. Even the countries like Germany, even the British, even the African, they can also become wiser because it talks about the variations. It talks about the contexts also. It talks about the information about those variations well in advance. The things are becoming much more simpler. Even the regulations which have been put by the Ministry of External Affairs in different countries, that can also be understood in advance. Visa rules. And now people are feeling safe also. A person would like to go for studies in Australia. And there is a rule that after 2 years of study, they can get the work visa and thereafter they can become the citizens. Easy way. And that sort of rules, if they are known in advance, then the difficulties which the diasporas they are facing, that can be minimized. So this particular program, it has got international relevance. People from any country, people from any place, even the same sort of difficulties they can experience when they are moving from one place to another in India also, or in other states also, from other countries. So there are state-wise variations also, place-wise variations also. So the common issues that can be identified. And this particular program, it talks about almost all the issues. And ultimately the field work, it is also being supplemented to see that how an individual can see the complexities and how those complexities can be addressed in a better way. I must compliment the school, which is taking all these initiatives, working very hard and contributing significantly. We do have our international presence also. Every year we get around 5,000 learners from different countries of the world. And our cumulative enrollment is around 80,000. We are having international study centers also. And now we are trying to reach through our online programs also, ODL plus online. And both programs, they are reaching to almost all corners of the country. And this particular program, it will also be launched in online mode also soon, so that for the learners, for the diasporas who are staying in different countries of the world, they can read it, they can study it, they can understand it, and also they feel that if they have got any suggestions to offer, those suggestions that can also be incorporated. Today we are happy to see the four distinguished experts present over here. And they guided us. They inspired us, they motivated us also. And we all feel happy and elevated to receive your kind comments on this particular program. And we are extremely thankful to you all for your benign presence today to guide us. I request you all that please guide us in our future endeavors also. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for highlighting the importance of educational initiatives in diasporic studies. IGNOU under your leadership will definitely make this program reachable to the various target learners. I now request Professor Nandini Sinha Kapoor, Program Coordinator of the Postgraduate Diploma in Migration and Diaspora, to propose vote of thanks.
Namaskar. A very good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening to all of you. I render the vote of thanks. First of all, I express my gratitude and thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor Nageshwar Rao ji, for his august presence and for a very inspiring presidential address. Thank you, sir, for your words of motivation and support, as always. I thank all the Pro-Vice Chancellors, Professor R.P. Das ji, Professor Satyakam ji, Professor Uma Kandilal ji, and Professor Sumitra Kukreti ji for their presence. Now I thank the Chief Guest, Dr. Marina Manke, Head, Labor Mobility and Human Development Division, International Organization for Migration, for a very insightful keynote lecture. I thank all the guests of honor, Mrs. Reva Ganguly Das, former Secretary IST, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India. I thank Mr. Ashok Ramsaran, President, Indian Diaspora Council, New York, and Mrs. Subhashini Lakshman Roy, Member of the National Assembly, Mauritius, for your enlightening deliberations. Now I take this opportunity to thank Professor Satisha, Director, our School of Interdisciplinary and Transdisciplinary Study, for her wholehearted support to make this event successful. I definitely need to thank Dr. Sadanand Sahu, the Joint Program Coordinator, who has worked round the clock to make this event a successful. As well as I thank all my faculty colleagues from SYTS, senior officials from IGNOU and entire IGNOU fraternity for their presence. I thank all the participants across the world for their presence, as well as, and finally but not the least, I thank SYTS staff in helping us out. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Namaskar.